Welcome to...
Okay, sorry.
Oh my God, someone's coughing right in the middle of my show. If you're gonna cough, get out of here. Oh my God, let's start this over. I'm gonna start this over. Ready? Are we ready?
Yes.
All right. Hello, I'm gonna try some new titles for my drinks tonight. Try a sip of Barely Sober, or Barely Wandering Out the Door. That's tonight's special, by the way. I'm your bartender, HilaHila, and we're 1 week away from our season finale and then a break. Welcome to Barely a Bar. Let's start you off with a shooter that I call barely high news. A discovery in China has shown that humans have been smoking pot since 500 BC. Scientists made a discovery of 2,500-year-old marijuana accessories in a Chinese burial ground site over the weekend, finding ancient heating pots and marijuana residue in tombs near the trading route known as the Silk Road. Scientists believe that cannabis plants were burned in funeral ceremonies. Celebration of life indeed. Time to rename it to the Stoned Age. In some legal news, here's one submitted by Chiono Murthin. Thanks, Chiono. New York State lawmakers on Wednesday passed a bill to ban the use of gay panic or trans panic defenses in murder cases. In these cases previously, defendants would justify their crimes by saying the victim's sexual orientation or gender identity caused an extreme emotional reaction, causing them to kill in self-defense. The new legislation aims to make it so that nonviolent sexual advance or discovery of the person's sexual orientation or gender identity does not constitute a reasonable explanation or excuse to commit a crime. It's about time, seriously. Here's a shot of dirty politics. Get it? Politics? Everyone's a critic. Tough crowd. The U.S. Supreme Court dismissed a challenge this week by Republican lawmakers for a case in findings of racial gerrymandering in Virginia districts. So what exactly is gerrymandering? The word is from the name of Governor Elbridge Gerry of Massachusetts, and a salamander, from the supposed similarity between a salamander and the shape of a new voting district on a map drawn when he was in office during the year of 1812. To be honest, I don't know why a salamander. The map has claws, wings, and fangs. Dragon would have been a little bit better, Jerry and Dragon. The creation of which was felt to favor his party. The map was published in the Boston Weekly Messenger with the title Gerrymander. The decision could also impact an appeal from Republican lawmakers in Michigan. A panel of 3 U.S. District Court judges unanimously ruled Michigan's 2011 legislative apportionment plan violates voters' constitutional rights. Judges found 34 districts in Michigan's congressional, state house, and state senate maps were illegally drawn to benefit Republican candidates and ordered they be redrawn fairly before 2020 elections. The Michigan State Senate Republican state legislators and Republican members of Michigan's congressional delegation appealed the decision to the Supreme Court. The court also granted their application to hold off on an order to redraw gerrymandered districts until the appeal was resolved. In other political news, Donald Trump again makes some trending news. He's on a roll, right? He just can't stop. More was revealed from behind the scenes with an interview at ABC News. Some of it definitely eyebrow-raising. One exchange I couldn't get enough of. It was the one where I am titling, "How dare you cough and be sick during my important interview?" In case you didn't get the reference from the beginning of this segment, or the beginning of this show. Trump's chief of staff coughed during an interview, and Trump stopped it, kicked him out, and then kind of expected a do-over. Take a look.
Get my financial statement. At some point, I hope they get it.
You're going to turn it over?
No, at some point, I might, but at some point, I hope they get it because it's a fantastic financial statement. It's a fantastic financial statement. And let's do that over. He's coughing in the middle of my answer.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like that, you know?
Your chief of staff.
If you're going to cough, please leave the room.
Get a shot of, and I'll come over here.
You just can't.
Just to change the shot.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, do you want to do that a little differently then?
Yeah, we just changed the angle. Yep. Thank you.
So at some point, I look forward to, frankly, I'd like to have people see my financial statement because
up to
it's
you.
phenomenal. No, it's not up to me. It's up to lawyers. It's up to everything else. But they're asking for things that they should never be asking for, that they've never asked another president for. They want to go through every deal that I've ever done. What they're doing is a disgrace.
But other presidents have turned over
They're
their
trying
tax
to
returns.
do.
Donald Trump also fired his own internal pollsters after a poll they conducted had him trailing behind Joe Biden, calling his own polls fake polls. And when asked during the interview, Trump acted as if those polls didn't exist, despite the fact that they've been in the news, and we know they do. They were leaked. Take a look at this clip.
He's still leading the polls on the Democratic side. It's tightening up a little bit, and
It's tightening up a lot, which is interesting.
but he's still beating you, according to the polls.
Well, I don't believe those polls. There's no way he beats me in Texas.
But even your own polls show you're behind right now, don't they?
No, my polls show that I'm winning everywhere.
I don't know. We've all seen these reports that with 15 out of 17 states, you spent $2 million on a poll and you're behind in 15 out of 17 states.
Nobody showed you those polls because those polls don't exist, George. Those polls don't exist. But I just had a meeting with somebody that's a pollster, and I'm winning everywhere. So I don't know what you're talking
So
about.
you don't feel like you're behind right now. You're not fighting from
I
behind.
haven't even started yet, but we're getting tremendous polls.
Those poll results so irritating to the president that a few seconds later, he has to go off the record to call his campaign manager.
Okay, so hold it off for a little while. Just call Brad on the phone, and I want to ask him that question, okay?
Days later, we would get the internal Trump polling data confirmed by the campaign. It showed the president far behind in key battleground states earlier this spring.
What is with him leaning so close into? They're in a limo. Why are they on top of each other? I don't understand. That looks very uncomfortable. Poor George Stephanopoulos. In another interview with Time journalists, right before his re-election campaign started this week, Trump talked about his foreign policy approach with Iran, China, and Mexico, his re-election campaign, and the Mueller report. And he made a number of assertions that weren't backed up by any facts. Surprise! Back in April, the Washington Post compiled a list of more than 10,000 false or misleading claims he has made since moving into the White House. 10,000! Here's a sample of the assertions and the facts. Assertion: building the wall right now. Fact: not the wall he promised from his 2016 campaign, and nothing new is being built. It's just replacing existing barriers. Assertion: families are still being separated, but they were with Obama and Bush. Trump says he ended the separation. Fact: while Obama's administration separated some families as a result of decisions on individual cases, it did not have a policy to do that on a systematic basis. In 2018, Trump's administration announced a zero-tolerance policy and charging with a federal crime, which sent parents to jail and children separated. Trump later overturned his own policy. Assertion: Trump says he had the largest regulation cut in the history of the country. Fact: Carter, Reagan, and Clinton also had large cuts, and experts say that there is no simple way to compare which president had cut more. Assertion: Mueller's report said Trump's campaign pushed back on the Russian interference. Fact: the Trump campaign were either receptive to offers or shied away at times, according to the Mueller report. Assertion: Obama did nothing to stop the Russian interference. Fact: Obama's administration took multiple steps to counter Russian meddling in 2016, including Obama directly confronting Putin at a G20 meeting and told him to, quote, knock it off, end quote. For more info about more assertions and facts, find more on Time's website. In social media news, Google Calendar went down and everyone forgot what they were supposed to do for a day. YouTube has been facing a backlash over one of the features that produce a lot of revenue for the platform. Now YouTube has to bear with possibly making a change or starting a new service to go around it. The issues at the center of it all is the autoplay feature on content for children. Removing the autoplay feature will be seen as a way they can protect young viewers from inappropriate content that may show up after the originally clicked video is finished. A separate app may be the solution, a standalone YouTube Kids application, but it would be a risky move because children's videos are among the most popular on the platform and carry millions of dollars in advertising. The other idea would be making sure the autoplay feature is disabled for children's content, but then again, that would be a loss. The chief executives are considering ideas, but also imply that the ideas may just remain ideas. So no change. Thanks for being the overbearing parent, Google. That's all the news I have for today. And this week, next week is our last episode for the season. Hope you tune in. Then after that, we'll be having some segments and a new segment for my show called Barely a Singles Bar. Stay tuned for more. And tonight's giveaway is actually going to be the same giveaway for last week since no one actually commented on it. Thank you. It's this hat that was donated last week by Crispin. And we're going to give it away again. This time, you can get this hat by commenting below with the comments either Scott Pilgrim or the artist formerly known as Prince, because that was the answers to last week's references. Alright, thank you for watching. Yay! Thank you for my live audience members. Thank you guys. Alright, and see you next week for my last episode of the season. And tune in next season. We'll be starting up again in mid to late August. See you later.